What's up, everybody? Welcome to the CanesInSight Daily Podcast, powered by Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Your Miami Hurricanes are regional champs for the first time since 2016. Just an incredible season, incredible game. We'll get into all that, including what lies ahead for your Miami Hurricanes as they make an unlikely run towards Omaha. Comments are already juiced up. I'm fired up. Pete's fired up. We are ready to rock and roll. Also, I know there's always going to be time to talk recruiting, so we got the bank, the latest from this weekend. I wrote a story on CanesInsight.com, 7 million posts in counting. Check that out for free. But we'll go over some of the players coming out of that visit, 17 visitors, and how they are looking. Some folks that are always rated 5 stars. That is Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. If you or someone you care about has been injured in an accident, you could be entitled to significant compensation. Dial 1-800-747-FREE, 1-800-747-3733. Take back control of your life with Anajar and Levine. Pete, hop in here.
Good morning, D.
Good morning, man. Feeling good, feeling refreshed. I got a nice 3 hours of sleep, hit the gym, ready to rock and roll, man. Still fired up from yesterday.
Yeah, man. Awesome. Obviously super excited for the, no pun intended, for the group of players and JD, of course. We'll get into the game here at Sebastian Font's in the waiting lobby as well. We'll bring him here in a second. But I think with this group and with JD, really, obviously you are the guy who followed the, every single game and every at bat. So you can talk about a lot of the nuances, but just, having been around JD in the past, having called games for WVUM when I was in school, and obviously JD was a part of the staff, I think we saw this season his greatest strength as a coach, as a manager, is his sense of calm, right? Like that, the team, with everything that happened up, throughout the season, obviously they had some really, really bad moments. They had some really, really high moments at the end, and then they fell off big time at the end. So for him to get this team back mentally in a place to compete this weekend, and then again, you lose how you lose the other night, and they come right back. And I mean, look, again, not having followed the ins and outs of the team, just getting texts. Not everyone was very, at least for people who follow the team closely, confident going into last night, right? With the pitching situation. And Lumpkin gave you, really solid innings there. Will Smith comes in and, really shuts the door on them. And then you have, of course, Walters doing what he does at the end there. But I just think JD, props to him for keeping this thing together, really.
100%. You said it very well. Resilience, to me, is the word here. You talk about a team that had 5 straight series losses, right? Really, the first 5 real series, as far as legitimate opponents, starting with Connecticut, you lose those. And then you go on an incredible run in the ACC. Then you limp into the finish line, 1-6 in your last 7 games, including the first round of the ACC tournament, getting run ruled by a bad Cal team. And then, of course, this run here in the regionals. And you think back, so go back to 2016, last time Miami did this. There were so many loaded rosters in between, with guys that are playing in the MLB now, that are about to play in the MLB, guys that are in the minors, guys that got drafted. I mean, really, those teams were loaded, some of those Damari teams, and they did not get to this point. So when you talk about JD, you can say whatever you want. Here are 2 things that you have to acknowledge. Number 1, he got every bit out of this roster that he could get. I mean, this team overachieved. Forget achieved. They overachieved. Number 2, this team, and I know this from a fact because I do the Storm Sessions interviews. I talk to all these kids. I talk to their families. I'm close to the team in that way. They would die for JD. I mean, the level of love for their leader is like something I've not seen at UM, at the University of Miami, in a long, long time. I cannot remember the last time I saw a group of guys, maybe Larinaga.
I was going to say Larinaga, those couple years there when they had those runs.
But, with JD, he had adversity, I think, a little more than Larinaga. So there was that added sense of like, man, they're talking about our guy, right? They're trying to fire our coach. So I've not seen that kind of coming together in a while. A great team as far as just the chemistry, how close they are, and just awesome. And, baseball wise, we got to bring in our baseball correspondent. Just arrived this weekend from Hattiesburg, one and only Sebastian Font. Oh, there he is. Hey, Sebastian, what's going on?
How are y'all doing, baby? Apologize for my voice in advance. It's been a pretty rowdy weekend up there in Hattiesburg.
Yeah, man. You tell me about that experience. You were here for the final, right? You were here in Miami for the final.
Yeah, because they put the game at 8 Central Time. It would have been impossible to get back home with a 14-hour drive. So I was stuck in the car watching it, but you know, it was a real pull over on the side of the road, watch it, it was with my group of guys, and we all loved it, man. It was great. I'm happy to be back. Don't miss the weather though.
Usually the first year, a lot of students kind of get lost and don't go to school. You are obviously top of the class valedictorian type. Eventually, you will learn to miss school for moments like that. That's going to come. Hopefully, the next regional championship that Miami wins or next trip to Omaha, you will have already learned how to miss school strategically at that point.
No, I mean, it wasn't me. I was with a group of guys since not old enough to fly in and rent a car. Not so we had to take our own, and we had a couple of them had work today, so they already called off, and we had no choice. But it was a special trip for sure.
All right,
It's summer, D. It's summer, D. There's no class now. So
yeah, true. Good point. So Sebastian, this team, you said it from the beginning. So we were there in fall, right? Sitting and watching practice. And actually, you were on the field for the beginning of that, right? And then
Yeah.
you transitioned to this role from your role previously, as a preferred walk-on on the team. So from the beginning, you said close-knit, high character, will do the most they can. Are you seeing now what you saw back then, the results of that tightness?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, we said it from the first podcast we did, right? That this was going to be a special team. I took a lot of flack for saying that it would be a special team and whatnot, but when you have a group of guys that all they want to do is just die for each other on that field, you get what you saw last night, right? A lot of guys that hadn't pitched in a while, hadn't come through in a while, and they were the guys that got it done for this team and found a way to take Miami to a place that they haven't been since 2016. And that's how special teams do their thing. And it's going to be really interesting to see how this momentum carries over into Louisville. And I think that the second that if Miami gets game one, you're going to see the Canes back in Omaha.
So let's start with Reese Lumpkin. To me, that's where I want to start, which is Miami's midweek starter from Winthrop, older guy. This is last year, right? That you hear JD say maybe this is last year of baseball, right? Because he's not necessarily a pro prospect like some of these other guys, like a Walters or some of these other dudes. So he's playing potentially his last college game. I talked to his dad during the FIU game, which he started midweek, and his dad was kind of laughing. Like, I was like, how was his recruiting process to Miami? And he's like, man, they called him. We said, where do we sign up? So this is someone who's very grateful for, he's not someone who's like a prep All-America that's like, hey, go to UM and go to the pros. Like, he's very grateful to be wearing these colors and representing Miami and playing in these kind of games. Goes out there, really solidified, I thought, during the year, the midweek spot, which was terrible last year. Then has the opportunity to start this one. I thought he was outstanding to get this one started. And then you follow it up with, what Will Smith did. You're talking about a guy who, same thing, bigger program. He's like Coastal Carolina. So he talked about in the press conference, he had been in these kind of games, but he had never won. Coastal Carolina didn't win a regional during his time. They just won one this year. But he had been on close and not gotten there. So just starting with those two guys, Reese and then Will Smith, the veterans, how happy are you for those dudes for what they were able to do to bring this one home?
Yeah, I mean, when it comes to Reese, especially with the start, hadn't pitched in a while, and a lot of people didn't like the decision from JD for him to start this game. And I felt that the moment wouldn't be too big for him, right? He would be able to handle it. And if he had his stuff, he could actually provide a really nice start there. And that's exactly what we did. The whole weekend, we were actually sat next to his family in that little Miami section. They were the loudest people the whole time, always cheering on everybody. Didn't matter whether it was that Southern Miss game on Sunday down 17-6. They were still cheering. They were still loud. And he came out and rewarded everyone for that faith with a great start. He had everything working for him. You could see that he was really amped up for the moment. He was in that mid to low to mid 90s range at the start of the game, kind of settled in there and gave a really great start to, keep the lead and just give the offense a chance to explode, which it did, right? And then when it comes to Will Smith, right? He's the exact guy you wanted in that moment. There's a reason that he's Fireman Willie, right? He came in throwing heat, throwing just absolute nasty curveballs and just firing up the dugout every time he got in there. There was always that energy coming off the field, and he gave them that momentum just to ride through. And it was that guy. Everyone loves him in the clubhouse. He's a real special dude, a real funny guy, and he wants it more than anybody. And you could see that yesterday.
Yeah, Pete, you were texting me about Will Smith. I mean, I feel like all the group chats were like, man, who hadn't seen him, they're like, who is this guy? Kind of, the weakness is sometimes those fly balls lead the park. That's always been the thing that he's fought against. But man, when he has it going, his swing and miss stuff is high level, right?
A lot of appearances this year too, right? So I mean, he was a guy who had pitched a lot this year. So you would expect, and has pitched and has been around for a while. So that's what you look at the portal, right, from before the season. And I think that although it wasn't like the highest rated portal class in the country, you're seeing some of these late pickups, some of these under the radar pickups that have turned out to be good evaluations down the line here.
Big time. And an experience, like you said. Will Smith said in the postgame, he's like, listen, I've been in this game 5 times and I've lost every time. Because, again, Coastal Carolina is a big program in baseball. For those who don't follow college baseball, it's close. And they had, similar to Miami, had not gotten over the hump recently for the regionals. They did this year. But when he was there, they didn't get over the hump. So for him, it's like, not only is it one of his last games, but it's like, man, now all the times that we couldn't get there, I can be the one that gets the Hurricanes there. It's crazy how it worked out.
May I say it was the best relief pitching performance in the postseason since one Sam Abrams against VCU.
The Iceman himself. Yeah, shout out to Sam Abrams. So Sebastian, before we move on to the position players, Rob comes in, Rob Evans, get big strikeout there. That could have been a dangerous position when he had those 2 leadoff walks, as far as JD kind of getting second guess, because you wonder, hey, you won the lefty matchup, but you wonder if you go to Walters, get those last 6 outs. Ultimately, Walters comes in, gets the last 6 outs anyways. How big was that performance? I know he gave up the home run, but it's college baseball. You're playing a crazy environment. I thought he was really outstanding, dialing it up to 98.
Yeah, I mean, when it comes to Rob Evans, firstly, I want to shout him out because he was rails all weekend, right? Especially when it came to that Alabama game where he comes in a very high leverage situation in a 1-out opportunity type of thing to get it to Walters in the 9th, and he absolutely comes in and just strikes the guy out, fires everyone up. And for a guy that many people wondered why he was pitching at some points in the season, and then he proceeded not to pitch for a while there, to have such a resurgence at the end of the year is something that's really great for him. I think that he's a kid that really was just wanting to prove people that he can do it for this Miami team, and he did exactly that. And yesterday comes in
on Rob before we move on to Walters. He was injured, as you know, but people don't know. He's been dealing with injuries. So, you're finally seeing the stuff. I mean, he's throwing 93. He has a great changeup. He's got really good ability, and he's a great person from all accounts. I think there's a lot more there, and there's going to be ups and downs because of the health, but you're seeing a lot more ups lately as he rounds into form in the perfect time. And I think he's going to be a huge guy here in Louisville.
Yeah. Again, he's going to be your big time lefty matchup guy, and he's grown into that role, and it's really great for him. And then going to Walters, man, I mean, he's coming in throwing straight smoke from the pen. You get him in a 6-out save opportunity, and it was electric right from the go. I wish I was there to see that heat in person, but just watching it from my phone, you could still tell it had a lot of juice to it. And he came in there, and even with the struggles against Alabama, he came in there, brushed it off. Even with the homer that he gave up, didn't even phase him. Gets the next out, and they all dogpile on him. So he's a guy that started this year, right? He started this year and struggled from time to time because it looked like he was pitching like a closer as a starter, right? He would get them to 2 strikes and then try and get them to chase and then end up with a lot of walks early in the game. And we said that maybe thoughts about moving him to closer, and that's exactly what JD saw, that made a great decision to do that. And you can see that his stuff, his approach is so much better suited in that closer role.
Yeah, it's changed the whole team, really. I thought, just from a confidence standpoint, knowing you have him there. Switching to the other side, you got to start, to me. I always start with the leadoff guy, Jonathan. Or sorry, I always call him Jonathan Andrade because I'm so old. Mike's gonna kill me. Jake Ogden. We were there in the camp, sitting with Ogden's dad, and he kind of, he's like, he knew people were doubting his son's ability to play shortstop. Right, Jake had been third base, some people thought he'd be first base, DH, and then not only is he able to play shortstop adequately, he becomes an exceptional difference-making shortstop on the defensive end. Made some huge plays all weekend, but really yesterday, even the second to last out, right, just big play after big play. Almost had a home run, right? That was like a foot away from being basically those separated, that would have maybe made this a little less dramatic. But Jake Ogden, to me, has become one of the best shortstops around, period.
Yeah, I mean, just watching him play, anyone that comes to see him, whether you watch baseball a lot or not, you just fall in love with the way that he plays the game, right? And yesterday, he had the game-saving play with that chopper to him at short that he made an amazing play on, because the next hitter was the home run that would have tied the game if Ogden didn't make that play, right? And he does it on every aspect of the field, whether it's hitting leadoff, he's batting around 350, whether it's doubles, singles, home runs, even bunting to get on from time to time. He just plays the game in such a fun way. Fielding, see him going to his left, going to his right, not stopping for any ball, and base running. I mean, the guy is full steam, 100% every play. If you love baseball, you love Jake Ogden. I mean, look, go look at his fan club if you want proof, right? And he's the spark plug for this team. The entire team rallies around him, even though he might be a bit nonchalant, not say much, just real cool, confident guy. The team rallies around him. He won't admit that, but they all rally around him, and he's a real special kid that we have playing shortstop for the University of Miami.
Yeah, it's well, I take my son to the game. I say, just watch Jake. Watch how he runs, watch how he plays, watch how he is in between plays. That's what you want to be as a baseball player. So Max Galvin really came on strong late in the season and throughout. I think he's going to be a key player here against Louisville. We saw it all off season. We knew it was just a matter of time before he kind of got cooking. Cuvée didn't have his best game yesterday, and the team still was able to get it done. Which, obviously we know how important he is, but I got to ask about my boy here, Dorian Gonzalez. I keep posting the Belen logo on Twitter, finest institution in Florida, of which he is a graduate. But the captain, we know how close he is to JD and his family, right? This is like they have a bond that is beyond deep. He was best friends with JD's son, who passed away tragically in a car accident. So, I mean, we're talking about family here. And for him to have two of the biggest home runs we've seen in Hurricanes baseball in a while, the last one being just a complete bomb. That was like that he admired that one. That was not like a second baseman's home run. I mean, that looked like a Cuvée sending one out. So what can you tell me about Dorian and just what he means to this team?
Yeah, I mean, when you talk about being the captain, being that close to JD, right? He really wanted to do it for for him, right? And I think you could see that in the way that he played this regional. Every swing was to do damage. Every play was 100%. And he, as the captain, him and B-Walt really set the tone, right? They always set the tone. And they did it not only in the locker room, but with how they played. And even though I laugh every time you make the Belen Jesuit comment, he really did them proud and did the University of Miami proud this weekend.
P, we got 1300 on, man, for baseball, man. We got to talk more baseball. The people are speaking loud that they're fired up about this team.
The bandwagon is open, man. The bandwagon is open. Come on.
All are welcome. All are welcome. So, just going down the lineup, I know somebody, you have been reporting on this really exclusively. And I got to be honest, I was skeptical. You were saying, hey, I think I think Derrick Williams, the right fielder from Wichita State, who was really playing well before he hurt his hamate. He was getting ready to play. And I was like, this guy's he swings so violently, pull hitter, that's a bad injury. I don't see this being really much of something that's going to, make it. I hope he comes back so he can experience it, but I wasn't expecting him to make a difference in the lineup just because of his health. And not only has he been kind of hitting those singles up the middle consistently, then the power shows up with the tone setting home run. And really you couldn't win this game without Derrick Williams getting back healthy.
Yeah. I mean, he's a guy that I don't even think he made it through half the year before his hamate injury. And he was already at 8 or 9 home runs and batting 350, right? He was kind of the offense before we even got to that hot streak. It was really only him because even Cuvée was slumping at that time. And to get him to come back, I think that it really provided a lot of energy to the team. They love him. You watch him come up with his walk-up song. The entire dugout is putting their arms up for him. And the guy just simply just rakes the ball, right? Getting hits up the middle, and even a home run with a hamate injury, you usually lose exit velo. So for him to be able to do that over that big wall in center, that just shows you the type of player that he is, and the ability for us to get him, a guy like him, in the transfer portal. And it would have been amazing to see him have a full season here, but I don't think anyone cares if he's able to get hot again during this regional and now super regional run.
So one of the comments here, some folks looking for football recruiting updates. We will get those to you, I promise, after we're done talking about, some guys getting it done on the field right now in the orange and green for your Miami Hurricanes. And that is the baseball team. Now, Sebastian, real quick before we switch to football, just on JD, again, I do the Storm Sessions interviews. I sit down with the families, talk to the players. The sense I'm getting from those guys and their families is it's an unusual bond with Coach JD as far as when he gets criticized, they want to not only, obviously their performance is getting criticized too, implicitly, because you're saying the team's not playing well, but it's almost like they're more worried about making him, kill the doubters than even themselves sometimes. It's crazy to see. I've never seen that, but I've heard it so consistently with not just Dorian, but other players on the team. Do you sense that there's that obviously everybody wants to perform for themselves and for their own and for their teammates, but also performing for the coach and making sure that he shuts up the doubters?
Yeah, I think that starts with how in the fall he immediately builds that relationship with his players. It's automatically we're all gonna ride for each other, and we're gonna get this Hurricanes team back to Omaha, right? And he'll do anything for you as long as you do anything for him. And I think that's the kind of mindset that this team has. They're all gonna go to the walls for each other, and I think that you see that in big time games, right? And especially with how we've played against big time pitching, whether it's the guy from Alabama, Jamie Arnold, a host in Southern Miss, right? They play up to the moment and they rally around their coach. And that's no matter what you have to say about JD, he's been able to do something that hasn't been done since I was still single digits in age. So you got to give him props.
Yeah, man. It's It's awesome. I'm fired up. I know you're fired up. We'll talk Louisville later this week. We'll do a big show, kind of breaking that down. But for now, just enjoying it. First time it's happened since 2016. So how old were you, Sebastian, in 2016?
I would have been just around 10. I would have just been 10.
Peter, were you in college in 2016 still?
I graduated 2016, man.
Yeah, man. So it's been a while. So fired
That
up.
was my senior year. I was calling games then. So I was
You're the good luck charm, man. You left and the thing fell off the map.
Yeah, I don't know if it was me. I didn't bring us much luck during my time in school and in other sports. Maybe ACC basketball championship, but
yes, sir. All right, fellas. Listen, Sebastian, thank you. We'll be back to talk Canes baseball and get into this Louisville series. But for now, enjoy it. I know you're fired up. So you're not working. You came back just to. What are you doing? What do you got going on?
He is working. What are you talking about? He's working for CanesInSight,
right now. Come
man.
on now, D.
This is okay. Good. All right. Well, get on it. You got a lot of work to do. Your season just got extended here, so we might be working. We might be taking a trip to. We're definitely taking a trip this week, and maybe we'll take another trip. So should be fun. You're the man. Everybody, check out Canes baseball coverage with Sebastian Font. CanesInSight, the biggest message board by far for Canes baseball on the planet, on top of everything else. So check out his work out there and be on the lookout for our Louisville preview podcast. Sebastian, take it easy, brother.
Take it easy, y'all. Take care.